Hello, this is Pastor Micah from Life's Journey, United Church of Christ. I'm just sharing a little midweek reflection here. This past Sunday, we looked at the story of how Jesus appeared to the disciples who hid behind locked doors, revealing to them that he is risen and that a new life is possible for them. This coming Sunday, we will continue our study of John's Gospel by looking at how Jesus proved himself to one of the disciples who had not yet come to realize he is risen. When I think about what theme for us unites these two stories, for me, it is about how Jesus is known and is recognized by his wounds. In John's Gospel, Jesus shows the disciples his hands and feet because they say to themselves, that unless they see the nail prints from his crucifixion in his hands, and the hole the spear that stabbed him left in his side, they will not believe that he is risen. It is ultimately only by showing the disciples his hands and his feet. It is only by this, by his showing them the wounds and scars on the cross, the cross is left on his body, even after his resurrection, that they come to believe. Though we might expect Jesus to do something different, that Jesus might prove he was alive and with them by some great miracle. Though we might expect him to do something bigger and flashier, even than turning water into wine, or by multiplying bread and fish as he did in earthly life. What Jesus does to prove himself is not flashy at all. He proves he is with them by showing them his scars, his wounds, and the signs of his vulnerability. He is known, he is made known by his wounds. Often we misunderstand the miracle of resurrection and the healing it brings. We think that it means God removing our suffering, our trials, our vulnerability, and the scars and wounds they leave on our lives. This is why some people who hear about Jesus from folks who told people believing in Jesus will give you wealth, give you health, give you comfort, often end up walking away from faith altogether later on when life gets rough. They find that being a Christian does not take away their struggles and suffering, as those preachers had led them to believe. Yet Jesus was made known by his wounds, and he never promised us a life without struggles, sorrow, heartache, and pain, whatever some folks claim. Instead, what did he say? But in this world, you will have trouble. Will have trouble. Adding to that, but fear not, I have overcome this world. What the miracle of resurrection does is allows the wounds, the struggles, the suffering we face to not just be without meaning, but be transformed into opportunities for us to learn, to grow, and to develop in ways that can bring healing and wholeness not only to ourselves, but also to others. Misunderstanding how God works in our lives far too often leads us to hide the hurt, the pain, and the heartache we faced in life. Try to put on a happy face and pretend we've got it all figured out when we don't. We've all known people like that. And we sometimes are those people. And in doing so, in trying to put on that happy face, even when we aren't, we cannot face the scars we're carrying, cannot learn the lessons they bring, and cannot be transformed into the wounded healers that we are called to be. As James Baldwin, writer and black queer civil rights advocate of the last century, once said, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed. Nothing. until it is first faced. When we learn to make space for the wounds we carry and open up to God and others about them, not only facing them, but inviting God to come alongside us in our suffering, our doubts, our fears, and our questioning, we can begin to discover a healing like Jesus experiences in the resurrection. Not one that removes his wounds or ours, but that transforms them into sources of new life. May we realize God is with us, not despite, but in our sufferings, and that God can bring good to us and to our world through us, not despite, but often through our wounds. As Leonard Cohen famously sang, ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There is a crack in everything. That is how the light gets in. Let's let that light shine. I look forward to seeing all of you this Sunday, hopefully in person, but if not, perhaps with us on Facebook Live. See you then. God bless.